All right, the next point is protective styling. There are people out here who think protective styles are not protective, right? What is this? What is a wig protecting and what is synthetic hair protecting? Look, you're entitled to your opinion. You know, maybe our ideas of what protective styles are different. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we are talking my top 5 tips for aggressive length retention. You guys already know we're on a challenge growing our hair quite aggressively this year, 2024. So I hope you're enjoying your protective styling, or at least, you know, holding on to hope and anticipating the, results of your length retention challenge. Anyway, in this video, I just wanted to talk about my top 5 tips for aggressive length retention, and that is, I'm gonna put this video in 2 sections or 2 parts. So the first section is my top 5 tips for aggressive length retention for curly naturals, and the next section will be my top 5 tips if you are someone that wears your hair straight or predominantly straight, because I understand I get all sorts of people on my channel, relaxed, straight naturals, mature age people, younger people, non-Africans. So I really appreciate every one of you guys. And of course, why not? This is an inclusive channel. Anyway, I'll be doing all that while flat ironing my wig. Okay, so hope that'll be fun. I've got my curling iron, got my brush, my mirror, and my scrunchie that I will be using, and hopefully transform this huge wig into something a little bit more tamed, if you know what I mean. I have done a video on this wig. I got it from the main curator, I believe. I've done a full video on it, and I love it. I love the hair, but for me, the thickness is too much. And if I was really good with hair, I would actually thin it out. I think I need half of this hair. It's a little bit much. And I really like for my wigs to look realistic. I know some people love this look, but I'm gonna take it up to the highest setting, which is 210 degrees Celsius, because I mean, why not? It is not my hair, so why not? Okay, so let's start with aggressive length retention for curly hair. The first one for me, I think, for curly hair would be no combs. This is not a popular opinion, I guess. But in my opinion, the day I eliminated combs from my routine as a curly natural, that's the day I really started to see a lot of results when it comes to the length of my hair. I'm not a silk press guru, and I definitely don't want bone straight hair, but I do want the volume to kind of decrease. I like the texture as it is, but it's just too poofy. So yeah, quitting the combs is not something that everybody wants to hear, and it's definitely not a popular opinion if you ask me. And you guys have heard me on this channel advocate for finger detangling. Use your fingers, use your fingers, use your fingers. The fingers and eliminating combs really just reduces the opportunities or the chances of your hair breaking. Now, I have said in past videos that, we should ditch the combs pretty much if you're type 4 natural. I still believe that, particularly for people that are curly naturals, all right? So you're not a straight natural, you're not someone that wears your hair predominantly in straight styles. If you're a curly natural, eliminating combs will be a service. Does this mean you can't grow your hair with combs? No, you can definitely grow your hair with combs, but there is, I guess, consequences. And in my opinion and in my experience, I found that combs slowed down the progress of my hair when I used combs and brushes. So finger detangling and ditching the combs. That's tip number 1 for curly naturals. Tip number 2, Girl, tip number 2 is moisturization. You guys know this term very well. If you've been on my channel for a while, you know that moisturization is simply moisturization or moisturizing and hydration together. I combined the two words to make the word moisturization. It's funny, but once you master your moisture and hydration, and I say, you know, moisture and hydration because you can't have one without the other. This will tremendously just improve the overall health of your hair. Oh, I don't know how to go about this because I don't have a mirror in front of me. The mirror is actually quite a fair bit away. The moment you master your moisture and hydration, your hair becomes super healthy, super supple, manageable, reduces the breakage. It's a game changer. I've shared a lot of videos on glycerine and you know how you can use that to sort of really, you know, just eliminate dryness in your routine. So master moisturization. I know this is cumbersome, guys. It's not a tutorial or anything. And like I said, I'm not really looking for bone straight hair, just really to reduce the volume of the hair, particularly at the roots here. It's quite poofy. All right, the next point is protective styling. There are people out here who think protective styles are not protective, right? What is this? What is a wig protecting and what is synthetic hair protecting? Look, you're entitled to your opinion, and really, I encourage for people to have opinions. It's good, but be aware that just because maybe protective styles have not worked for you does not mean that they don't work for everyone else, one. And number 2, you know, maybe our ideas of what protective styles are different. For example, some people say, what is it protecting because, you know, you don't have access to your hair could dry out, you know, you can't deep condition effectively, blah, blah, blah. But for me, the most prominent definition of a protective style is simply a style that allows your hair to rest. So protects your hair from the constant manipulation of wash day and detangling and brushing and all that. I also believe that there are disadvantages to anything that you try, really. Anything that you try will have some advantage and disadvantage. So it's pretty much pick your poison. Pick your poison. Pick which one you're okay with and which one you're not okay with. For me, if a style allows you to not detangle your hair as much, that would definitely aid in you retaining some length. Of course, the takedown will be more complex, tangles, matting, whatever. But you have the length. So if you can commit to a proper takedown, you're good. The next point is to avoid heat. Go figure, girl. Like, do not, if you're a curly natural, in my opinion, heat is the enemy. As a curly natural, I've blow dried my hair and all that, and each time I did, my hair was really not happy. Always be crunchy dry, you know. Yeah, lots of dryness, particularly with, you know, blow drying my hair as a curly natural. So I would encourage you to avoid heat altogether. If you use heat, then use it sparingly, use it less, etc. And I know there's some people that will use heat as curly naturals and they really love it. They swear by it. They think it's helpful. More life to you. And if you're someone that's a curly natural and considering to use heat, then I would encourage you to maybe invest in something like the Rev Air. Because then, you know, you've got the best of the best on the market when it comes to really trying to, I guess, avoid any damage that could happen. Because with curly naturals, you obviously want to retain your curls. That's the whole purpose of being a curly natural. You want your curls, you love your curls, you want to rock your hair with its curls.
I just wanted to say that if you want to include direct heat in your routine, you definitely can. There are ways to do heat safely, using the right temperature, you know, making sure you're using it the right temperature for your type of hair, like fine hair, thick hair, etc. Using it, you know, wisely, where you're not doing it over and over again. And also, I've been learning that what causes the dryness with heat use is really just how you use heat, as in, you know, the techniques and the amount of heat you apply, and also how long you keep your hair without water or hydration, because that's what really causes the dryness, right? When you don't rehydrate the hair, or, you know, implement strategies to keep the hair healthy while stretched.
The last point for my curly naturals is healthy ends. Your ends are pretty much where you are going to retain your length. Those are the ladies that we're trying to preserve. They're the ones that are, because my hair is about what, 6.5 years old now. So my ends are maybe 5 years old, maybe 5.5, because obviously I've had trims. But my ends are really old. They're the driest, they're the most fragile, so you want to protect them from damage in the first place. You want to make sure they're moisturized, well moisturized. And you want to tuck them in. If you need a trim as a curly natural, please trim your hair. There is no point you hanging on to ends that are fragile and weak and drenched in single strand knots. That will simply just make things really complicated, particularly when it comes to detangling your hair, okay? So in my opinion, my humble opinion, I think trimming your hair or your ends as needed is a good idea. Do not over trim. I do not advocate for over trimming, but if your ends need a trim, let them go. Let them go. On to my straight naturals. So straight naturals are people that wear their hair predominantly in maybe silk presses or blowouts. Things are a little bit different for you guys, understandably, because, you know, heat is a major part, I guess, of your routine. For straight naturals, I would say you cannot neglect your hair with regards to moisture and protein. So that moisture protein balance that we talk about, it's particularly important for straight naturals. And that's because you're using heat. So yes, the heat is closing the cuticle, depending on the tools that you're using and how healthy your hair is, etc. The heat has a potential to dry your hair. It is closing the cuticle, so it could, I've heard that closing the cuticle with heat sometimes helps preserve the moisture. However, heat can also dry your hair. So you want to make sure your hair is well moisturized. I haven't lost the other piece here. Girl, you can see that I'm not, I hate, like, how does anyone do, this is so complicated. So protein to strengthen the hair and moisture, deep conditioning, hydration. You want all of that on point, never missing any sessions, because your hair absolutely needs it. That's one. Number two is protective styles. I guess that's something you have in common between the the straight naturals and the curly naturals, is that with curly naturals, protective styling is major. Well, guess what? For my straight naturals, it is also major. And that's because you want to give your hair a break. You don't want to be just wearing these straight styles through and through all the time, 24/7, all year round. That's one way to really just, you know, end up with 3 strands of hair on your head. It's not sustainable. So let's try this a different way. So yeah, protective style your hair. That way you give your hair a break from the heat. So you can do 3 months or 4-6 months doing your silk presses or whatever you're doing, and then the rest of the year you're just protective styling. That would really work to give your hair a break and really just allow it to thrive. Trims, yeah, heat will cause split ends for sure. So for you guys, for straight naturals, you must trim your hair. It's non-negotiable. You're gonna have a higher propensity, a higher chance of getting split ends. So definitely trim your hair, because then if you're not trimming your hair, again, breakage, you know, really complicated wash days, etc. So my straight naturals, trims are quite important. The next point, I have just put in an umbrella term of being heat smart as a straight natural. And what I mean by that is never ever, you know, using heat on your hair if your hair is unhealthy, if your hair is not prepped properly, that is washed, deep conditioned, protein treatment, etc. Don't do that. Not using heat daily or weekly, you know, try and do monthly at the least. And if you can go even longer, then do that. But don't use heat excessively. Definitely don't ever use heat without a heat protectant. We know this to not be the greatest or the smartest decision. Even if you don't mind your curls being lost, etc. But just for the health of your hair, you don't want heat damage, right? So use a heat protectant, a good heat protectant. This is something I would invest in. I would go, you know, really, I wouldn't be stingy. I would look for a really good protectant, even if it costs me a bit, because I know that once you get heat damage, it's over. So I would invest in a good heat protectant. And of course, try and, you know, understand your hair, the texture of your hair, the type of your hair, and what heat it can tolerate, so that you're not using too much heat or a higher temperature, you know, than your hair can handle. That would be a disaster. And of course, doing fewer passes with your flat iron. So not going, we don't want that. Of course, I'm doing it right now because this is not my hair, so I don't mind if it gets heat damage. But you guys know what I mean. Like, you've seen the clips here online where people just overdo the, you know, the passes. It's just extreme. It's excessive. And finally, for my straight naturals, it's gonna have to be brushing. I talk about brushing your hair with a bow bristle brush. If you're a straight natural, this is the perfect practice for you, because you can really go to town. Now you can utilize your sebum. So I would take advantage, especially that you're not able to hydrate your hair with glycerine, and, you know, you can't use heavy products, castor oil, etc. I would really just take advantage of the fact that, you know, my sebum can travel easier down the shaft of my hair. Take advantage of the fact my hair is straight, so I can actually brush it. I'd go to town. So those are my tips for straight naturals. I think that makes 5. Perfect timing, because the flat iron is done as well. I'm not sure what it actually looks like, because, like I said, I don't have a mirror with me. But what do you guys think? Is it a little bit tamed? It's not as full, right? The way it was, like, all over the place. And I love kinky straight. Like, at this stage in my natural hair journey, I don't do anything that is not textured. Like, hair-wise, I only do kinky straight, curly styles, done. I like kinky straight because it's manageable. Like, you don't want to deal with your own curls and then have to deal with the curl of the wig. Do you know what I mean? For an amateur girl, I think I did all right. What do you think? It's so exciting to see the change of texture from, you know, like a more textured to a little bit smoother. And it's interesting because my hair is about the same length as this. So I like wearing this wig because it mimics not only my texture but also my length. So yeah, that's that, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what your top tips are for length retention. Look at that flowiness. I'm sure you can see it in the back. Do you want me to turn around? I'll turn around so you guys can see. Oh, so much better, right? It's so much smoother here at the... I've done so many videos with that wig and I'm like, why is it bulging here? Is it my hair inside? I've realized it's actually just the hair itself. It was so full that it made my head look funny. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you learned one or two things. Hope you can relate to some of these things. Like I said, comment below. Let me know which ones are your top tips for growing the longest hair, the quickest length, or getting the quickest length as a curly natural or as a straight natural. Till next time, it's Coily Diaries. Bye.